Hello there, Talkin Fight fans. Glad you could join us on another evening with Neil and myself on the Neil the Deal Show. Today, who we got? I think it's Randall Tex Cobb, if I'm not mistaken. Randall Tex Cobb, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? Another bleeder in your bleeding series?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Graham. Wow, that is kind of funny. I was thinking about that today. I was thinking, this is like the Bleeder Series week or something weird. Like, I don't know. Everybody was like a bleeder. Some guys bleed, some guys don't. So all of a sudden, I'm getting all these guys that are just getting cut up and beaten up and bloodified and I don't know, man. But anyways, thanks. Nice to see you, Graham.
Bloodified? Is that a word?
Is bloodified a
Bloodified.
word? Look that up. Bloodified. I don't know. It's
Well,
like
if you're
being
saving the best, for the last, it's going to be interesting to see if you got lined up for tomorrow. Anyway,
yeah.
so
Well,
tonight we got Randall Tex Cobb. Let her rip.
let her rip, man. Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, how you doing, guys? Graham, thanks. Nice to see you again. Thanks for having me out.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for coming out. Really appreciate it. Everyday things, as we all know, it's getting better. We're all getting better here. Everything's going good. So thanks for the likes, the shares, all the great stuff, the comments, everything that you guys have been doing. It's fantastic. Absolutely wicked. So thanks again, you guys, and stay warm. Like I always say, I don't know where you are, but hopefully you're in a warm place because I'm not. So I should probably be hanging out wherever you are in the warm places. So let's just talk about this guy, hey, Graham, Randall Cobb. He had a nickname. It was Tex. Let's call him Tex because he's from Texas, right? So I used to watch him. He was a heavyweight, big guy. He was involved in a lot of movies, TV shows,
That's right.
appearances of that sort of stuff over the years. So that happened during his career and a lot of them after his career. So he had an extensive career in the movie industry, like some really good ones. We're going to talk about that later on. Maybe those movies you might want to go see him in. So he goes by the name Randall Tex Cobb. He was basically born Randall Craig Tex Cobb, born May 7th, 1950. That would make him 70 years old this year, Graham. So, Randall Tex Cobb is 70 years old. That kind of makes me feel old. I don't know. I don't know. So, and he was born in a place called Bridge City, Texas. That's in the United States of America. Like I said, he did all the acting, all that kind of stuff. He was a big heavyweight, and he was known as one of the guys that had the best chin of all time. I mean, this guy could take an absolute whooping, but he wouldn't go down. I don't know what it was. Every time I watched him, he had good fights where he did the beatings, big time. But then he got some real big ones against him too. Some pretty bad beatings by. We're going to talk about that later on too. So that'll be in the notable fights, etc. and stuff. So stay tuned, guys, for that little tidbit. All right. So he started in 1975, and he was into kickboxing and martial arts, Graham. So he didn't actually start in boxing. He started in kickboxing and martial arts, karate to be exact. So this is full contact karate, Graham. In those days, 75, 76, 77, right? Yep. So this is another sport that I didn't really know was going on, but apparently it was a full contact karate, some sort of, what I mean, martial arts, and they were like major fights. So he did pretty good. He was I think he was 9 wins and 2 losses in his kickboxing career and martial arts career. He did get his black belt in karate. All right. So he's actually a real black belt. And he went to the karate training schools, all kinds of stuff like that. And like I say, he won his first 9 bouts, and he knocked out all 9 guys. And then I think it was he had 2 losses. One was a draw and one was a loss or something. And then he moved into his boxing career, right? So in his boxing career, he really wasn't a boxer, Graham. So he was brought in by a bunch of guys that saw him kickboxing. So these different trainers saw him in the kickboxing thing. And apparently the guy that he beat, that was like the hardest guy to beat in the kickboxing ring, I think his name was David Ochoa. Look him up, David Ochoa, 1975, something like this. This guy was he was the world champ or something. So Cobb takes him down, And then these promoters come along and say, well, we're going to sign you and Ochoa to boxing. They signed them up, basically, they're promoting them, promoters, right? So he ends up doing that. He says, all right, I'll start doing the boxing thing instead of this kickboxing thing. So he starts off 75. He went 13-0 with 13 KOs, Graham, in his first 13 fights. So that was up till 1979. In 1980, I saw this fight. This is when I kind of saw him. Guys, I saw this fight. This is a really good fight. You should check it out. It's Randall Tex Cobb against Ernie Shavers. Now, Ernie Shavers was known as the hardest puncher in boxing, or if in the top 3 for sure. So, and Randall Tex Cobb knocked him out. And he was known as one of the hardest, greatest chins of all time, and he was a hard puncher. This Randall Cobb individual, he was seriously a hard puncher. So, guys, you'll enjoy the fact that a lot of heavyweights, especially the middle-aged ones here, in the night, some of them were like, they don't really, it seemed like they were big and lumbersome and stuff, and they weren't really agile and stuff, and they weren't really big punchers and stuff. And these guys in those days, like these Randall Tex Cobbs and obviously Larry Holmeses and all this kind of guys, they were like amazing. You know what I mean? Like for the size of them, these guys are huge. So anyways, he ends up getting a bunch of fights. He wins a whole bunch of fights, and then he gets a chance to fight Holmes for the world WBC World Heavyweight Championship, right? And I watched that fight, guys. You got to watch that one. That's going to be on our notables tonight, guys. So keep an eye out for that one. Is Randall Tex Cobb versus Larry Holmes, November 26, 1982. All right. And I watched the fight live at my parents' house. I was just a kid, basically. And poor old Cobb there he looked like he just got mulched up by a grater, like a concrete grater or a wood chipper or whatever you want to call it. But he bled like a stuck pig for 15 rounds straight. He didn't win one round. He got absolutely destroyed. Okay, so I might have made a mistake again. I know it's hard to believe, but I read again where Howard Cosell, and I think this is the actual truth, guys. That was the fight that Howard Cosell decided to hang up his broadcasting boxing days, was the Larry Holmes Randall Cobb fight. That's when he actually said he was horrified by what he watched. I remember as a kid, I was horrified. I was horrified because he really looked like he was hurt, bleeding, like just he wouldn't stop. So the ref just let it go and go and go. Like wasn't like he was beaten up and not throwing punches. He was still throwing punches the whole time. But Holmes was just pecking him off with that left jab. Was just ridiculous in that fight. Just bam, 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 just pummeled the guy's head. It was unbelievable. And then the power shots and the straight rights and stuff was just like, holy cow. And he took every one of them, Graham, at 15 rounds, majority decision, unanimous decision for Holmes, right? But he went 15 rounds, and he looked like he went about 1,000 rounds after that one.
Was that his first loss?
It could be. It might have been. That's a question for you guys out there in Talkin Fightland and Neil the Deal Showland. All my fans, check that out. Maybe that was his first loss. Yeah, I would think so, because he was 13-0, and then they don't say anything. He knocked out Shavers in 80, and then he moved on to Holmes. No, you know what? If I remember, maybe he did lose a couple. He did lose a couple in between. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll figure that out. So after that Cosell thing, everything was crazy. People. I remember that because Howard Cosell. We all grew up with him on Wide World of Sports and NFL football and Monday Night Football with Don Meredith and all those guys. You know what I mean? And Grant Gifford. And Howard Cosell was a good, we liked him, right? And then all of a sudden he just disappeared. After that, he was gone. I don't remember seeing him on another broadcast of anything after that, ever. I don't know how that works, but that's what he decided.
He got fired.
Oh, he did he?
Yeah, sometime, I can't remember when, a few years left to look that one up. But basically he made some peculiar comment about black athletes having an additional muscle or tendon in their legs, which made them stronger, and or faster. And for that comment, you never heard of him ever again. ABC let him go. Yeah, he was gone.
You just brought that back in my mind. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That I remember him saying that black athletes had an extra tendon or muscle in their calf, or it was their Achilles tendon or whatever it was. They had a longer Achilles tendon or something of that sort.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why they're faster, and that's why they're more athletic and blah blah blah. I remember that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just disappeared. That's probably it. Was like when Jimmy the Greek disappeared. Look that one up, guys. The guy's like the biggest gambler, sort of pro gambler, tell you what's going on. Something happened to him. Like he said something to Jimmy the Greek, and then they just fired him instantly. So I'm a little worried I might say something crazy and get fired. So I better just take it easy over here, because the boss over there might get upset. I don't want that. So anyways, we don't go there. All right, so let's talk a little more about Randall. All right, so then he decides around 85 that after he fights home, he's going to go back and start kickboxing again. So he goes back to this kickboxing thing, and then he makes a return to boxing in 87. Right? I think he lost those 2 fights, and then he said, I'm not good in kickboxing. I might as well go back to the boxing. So he was always kind of lumbersome because he was big and stuff. So apparently his trainers taught him how to do what's called the Joe Louis shuffle. So if you watch Joe Louis fights, he has this shuffle to his feet. So there you go. There's a tidbit. So the trainers decided they were going to teach Cobb how to do the Joe Louis shuffle. That would help him out in these bigger bouts, right? And that's what happened. And he went on a 20-fight unbeaten streak after they were helping him he came in a comeback, right? So he comes back, and then all of a sudden in 1993, out of the blue, he retires. We won 20 straight and retired. So
I didn't realize he lasted that long.
Yeah, so he went that long, up to 93, and then he retired. And then his acting career was already happening. He had already had some parts in movies while he was boxing, but then it kind of started getting more and more and more. You know what I mean? He started his movie career literally in, I believe, like the mid 70s. Late like 77, 70. Like he was in all these little parts. But here's a couple of so he retires, and now he lives in Orange, Texas, right? I don't know exactly where Orange, Texas is, but it's a town in Texas. And he's been on a number of TV shows that I remember seeing him on these shows. So if you guys want to check this out, some of these shows with him in the show, he was really good. And I'll give you some movie tips too, because I work in that stuff, and I remember all these movies. So anyways, he did, and this is only some of them, Grim. X-Files. There was an episode called The Fight or something, X-Files. He did Married with Children. He did MacGyver. He did, the big one and he saw Miami Vice. I remember seeing him with Don Johnson on Miami Vice. And then I seen him on, remember this one? Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yes.
With Chuck Norris. Oh, he was in all kinds of those episodes for Chuck Norris. Like, he's always like the mean villain dude, Like he's always that guy you don't want to meet. He's like the toughest guy in the bar, or the guy that'll break into, or he just looks meaner than hell. In all the movies and everything, he's just like scary, really scary stuff. So anyway, some of the movies that I saw him in that were like really good, Graham, and he played really good in these movies. The first one I remember him in was Uncommon Valor, 1983. It was a war movie. So if you guys want to watch that one, 1983, Uncommon Valor, it's an amazing war movie. It's a good one. He was also in a movie where I worked with the set decorators on this movie. They had just finished it. I didn't work on it, but I worked with them. And that movie was Raising Arizona.
I love it.
Right. Remember that one with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, the Coen brothers, man, that was great.
The Coen brothers. That's who. So he's in that movie. In that movie, Graham, if you remember, he's the evil biker that comes and he's psycho looking. The evil biker in Raising Arizona. Remember, he's smoking that cigar. He's all dirty, and he gets off that crazy Harley, and he looks like he just crawled out of a sewer pipe. It's like unbelievable, right? Hey, those makeup artists did a good job with him. The wardrobe was wicked. So, anyways, Cobb looks wicked in Raising Arizona. Check that out. He's really cool. So those are a couple of the bigger ones. I mean, he's been in all kinds, Graham. Like literally, like Heat of the Night, and he's got guest appearances on all kinds of stuff. So keep an eye out for him. This is an interesting thing too. In 2008, Graham, at 57 years old, he graduated magna cum laude. Magna cum laude? What the? This must be what do they call that? The beta or the alpha beta thing or something?
It's legit. Keep going.
Yeah, he's from Temple. He got from Temple University. Okay, he got a bachelor's degree in sports and recreational management. That's impressive, Randall. Hey, I'd like to call you, bud. I might just call you. I'm telling you, I'm making a list, Graham. This guy will probably talk to Neil the Deal for sure. Why not? He's right down my alley. He rides a Harley like me. He's all good. He's like hanging out. You know what I mean? He's a cool cat. So we have the film thing and you know, same stuff. So, you know, but that was pretty impressive. I thought, like, if you can do that, like in 2008, you retired in 1993. That's like what? 15 years later, he graduated and he said it was really nice to go up on stage and be cheered or something, you know, by all the people. And he said it's the first time he's been in front of all the people being cheered and he didn't bleed. That's what he actually said. So everybody was cheering, but it was only because he was in a robe and he had the hat on and he was all graduating. But he himself was all impressed that the only time he had ever seen people cheering like that was when he was getting beat up. This time he wasn't getting beat up, finally, right? So I thought that was pretty funny. That's a pretty good thing, right? So notable fights, guys. And then we'll cut her short, I guess. Cut her no, whatever you guys like. Again, Randall Tex Cobb versus Leon Spinks. All right. That was a win against Leon Spinks. He beat Spinks.
Yeah.
Majority decision, March 18th, 1988. Then that Howard Cosell bloodbath, whatever you want to call it, ginsued, sliced to pieces, looked like he just got run over by a snowblower. You know what I mean? Like a snowblower hit him in the face. He lost, obviously. Unanimous decision, majority decision, Larry Holmes. So Cobb versus Larry Holmes, November 26, 1982. If you want to, don't let the kids watch that one. All right. Keep that one to the adults. They'll be scared. So, and Randall Tex Cobb versus Ernie Shavers. That was a win for him. So that was August 2nd, 1980. And he got a TKO over Shavers, the third round TKO. So, guys, those three fights, probably the ones I would look for. He's got, obviously a lot more. His professional record, we're just going to go quick to that. I believe he had 50 fights, Graham, in his pro record. He was right at the 50 mark. He was 42 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw with 35 KOs, which gave him a KO percentage of 68.3. So pretty damn good, 35 KOs and 42 wins out of 50 fights. So he, like I said, he'd win a lot of fights, man. But then when it got to the big ones, he had a hard time with the really good guys, right? So, anyways, thanks a lot there, Mr. Randall Tex Cobb. Thanks for the movies, the TV stuff, all the wicked fights. Sorry about you bleeding all the time, dude. That's not really cool, but hey, I guess it is what it is, right? What are you going to do? You got to show up. So, thanks a lot, guys, for coming out. Graham, the likes, hey, the shares, all the subscriptions, and all the other shows are pumping hard. You guys are really pumping it up. The female fist, oh my God, she's going to start bringing on some of the big girls now. And of course, the scoop, well, that's what it is. He is the big guy. And then you got Mike, and there you go. What are you going to do? He's going to knuckle you up. And then you got our other boy, Christian. Well, that's just another guy in itself, that Christian. So, got to like him. Very, very, very cool cat. So, thanks, guys, for liking us. Thanks for sharing us. Thanks for subscribing with us. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Graham, it's 6:30 tomorrow. Is that for real or what?
Yep.
All right. You never know. Could change, right? I don't know. You didn't
Friday
tell
night.
me. Yeah, Friday night, 6:30. Okay, guys. So thanks for coming out. Randall Tex Cobb, check him out. Serious guy. Check out some of his movies. His movies were awesome. Those three
Yep.
movies, I'm telling you, all his TV shows, wicked. Just Google that shit. Check it out. All right. Take care of yourselves. Stay warm. Stay cool. If you're in a warm place, have a drink. Stay cold or stay cool. All right. Thanks, Graham.
Thanks, Neil. And if
See you
you're gonna
tomorrow, guys. Thanks for
subscribe, make
coming
sure
out.
to ring that bell for notifications.